The other big match at Final Resolution is for the third month
Robert
in a row.
Roode, Eric Young.
Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. So we follow up from the last pay-per-view in which Kurt Angle lost to Samoa Joe despite his promise that he would never ever do a rematch. He's like, I'm never doing a rematch with Samoa Joe no matter what happens. It turns out he lost and he may not feel the same way anymore.
Yeah, he's like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't want to lose. I don't like losing. I would like to not lose. So we open the first Impact of the month. Robert Roode is in the ring doing some bullshit, and Kurt Angle walks out. He kicks Roode out of the ring with some kind of edit. I think Kurt went longer in the promo, but this happens all the time in the show. I assume it's just for time rather than like he said some bullshit. Like anytime I see some weird edit on Impact, I do just assume we had to squeeze the 6 minutes they spent out there down to 3. So this is how we did it.
Because there's 800 angles on these shows.
Yeah. Angle looks on the verge of tears. Up there with Abyss this month in terms of unhinged performances. Listen, there is a little bit of art and fact coming together here, but he does seem like the most like out of control, upset man you have ever seen in your life because he has lost this match to Samoa Joe. Whatever is going on in his life, it allows him to tap into it in a very realistic way for a pro wrestling television character.
Sure.
He insists he doesn't tap out, even though Joe did make him tap out. He said he gave Joe a chance at redemption. He demands Joe give him the same. Joe appears on the screen and reminds Angle that he insisted that Turning Point would be their last match, so he declines. Don West is like recapping that. He's like, that's what Kurt said. And Angle's like, what are you saying, Don?
What the fuck do you mean by that, Don?
What are you saying to me?
Donathan?
How dare you speak my words back to me? Angle begins to cry and then attacks Don West. Angle locks Don in the ankle lock as Mike Tenay demands security comes out. My favorite part of this, if you watch just as they go to break, Don desperately clutches at Mike Tenay's ankles for help.
Yeah.
And Mike more squirms away from him than actually tries to help.
What's Mike gonna do?
I think Mike could at least give Kurt Angle a classic Paddington Bear hard stare.
Yeah, and then Kurt will run over and rip his throat out.
But at least he would fall valiantly for his friend.
Yeah, fuck that.
We come back from the opening titles as Tenay reacts to Angle's attacks and officials check on Don. Then Ron Killing's music starts to play because this is where he faces Abyss. And Mike Tenay is like, fuck me then, cut me off, fine, the show goes on. We're going to
Fuck,
fucking
I guess
Ron.
whatever. Don West is dead.
Yeah, we're just doing Ron Killing's Abyss. Jim Cornette joins commentary for the rest of the show as well. Kurt Angle then spends the rest of the show on a rampage. He attacks Eric Young, wanting to know where Samoa Joe is.
I like how Eric's like,
Which is, Jarrett used to do that before as well, like harassing.
Why does everyone think Eric Young is the most tapped in man in the locker room?
Because he's conspiratorial, I guess. He wants to know where everyone is so he doesn't get killed.
It hasn't been working out for him.
While Angle uppercuts EY out of his boots, like he flies upwards. Later in the show, Angle is backstage with Slick Johnson in an ankle lock. Somewhere Larry Zbyszko is smiling. He's demanding his rematch with Samoa Joe. Once again later, Angle comes back out. He grabs SoCal Val and pulls her into the ring. He steps on Val's hair and says that he'll break her ankle if Joe doesn't give him the rematch. Jim Cornette, who is on commentary, gets in the ring, points out, that's a woman. That's a woman, Kurt.
Kurt's like, I really do not give a fuck.
Yes, I know that's a woman. That's why I'm threatening her. That's the
kind
whole
of the point.
Cornette points out that he can contractually book Joe in a one-on-one match. A precedent I'm sure that will be stuck to. But he can do tag matches. So next week at Impact, he books Angle and a partner versus Joe and a partner. And Kurt's like, what will that do for me? I want my rematch. And Jim's like, well, get in there and like convince him Olympic style.
Which I think means work him over.
Yeah.
Piss him off enough that he has to do it.
That's the idea.
Find another woman to assault.
Listen. Kurt Angle hasn't taken on the role of being a locker room leader, in part because numerous TNA sources say he seems a little out there. Says one wrestler, he's insane. It's like it's real to him. He seems to want to relive his Olympic glory days in pro wrestling, has such an intensity and passion about what he does, but in a way that comes across as if he takes wrestling matches more seriously than most are comfortable with or used to.
Oh, I'm sorry that someone freaking cares about this freaking business. I guess he's just a fucking chud.
Yeah, I'm sorry that he takes work seriously.
Yeah. I'm sorry that it still is real to him.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's damn real.
It's still damn real to me.
Ah. That's what he does. He goes, ah.
He does. December 21st Impact, Don is back. He says he has a severe ankle sprain after Angle attacked him last week.
That's probably about as good as you could ask for.
Only missed a week. I guess his voice is fine.
Yeah. Well, he's like, I gotta be here to call Sting versus Kazarian.
That's very important. JB has Rhino in the back because the main event of the show, they were, as illustrated last week, they will have partners. So it'll be Angle and Rhino versus Joe and AJ. That's the main event of this episode of TV. A really cool main event on paper. Rhino does a promo about AJ, but Kurt says he is very mad about not getting his rematch, and he'll give Joe every reason in the world to grant it tonight.
So exactly what Cornette said.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm getting to think this guy maybe isn't operating on the highest level.
You don't think like his brain's all there?
Yeah, I think he might be fucking crazy.
AJ and Joe also have an interview later in the show that we'll talk about when we're talking about Rhino. But the main event, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe defeat Kurt Angle and Rhino in a match that has less than 90, well, a little more than 90 seconds. It might be like 102 seconds of in-ring time.
Yeah, this is TNA.
It sure is.
Like, you look at a match on paper and you go, whoa, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, it's an angle more than a match.
Which is so funny. Like, the entire concept of this is that Kurt wants Joe in the ring so that he can convince him to fight him in one-on-one again. And instead, the match is just less than 2 minutes. Surely, like, by the premise of the story, Kurt should want to keep the match out there as long as possible until Joe was like mad and giving him his rematch. They begin brawling on the floor before the opening bell. We come back from break and they're already in the ring getting the heat. And there is less than 3 minutes left in the video file when they come back from this break.
Which means you know they're going to work at a pace.
Which they do, to be fair.
Yeah, because there's no other way for it to work.
Hot tag to Angle. He runs wild as we get the first Angle and AJ interactions in TNA in the ring, which is fun. Joe has the Coquina clutch on Rhino, but Angle slams him. Styles grabs a roll-up for the win, and less than 2 minutes of actual in-ring action in this match, and Angle locks Joe in the ankle lock after the match as we go off the air and hit Adrenaline Rush.
Adrenaline rush.
Next week, JB is in Cornette's office. Angle wants his goddamn rematch with Samoa Joe.
He's been very clear about this.
He wants one thing. Jim Cornette's like, brother, I gave you the tag match last week and you did not convince him. That's on you. I have to decide whether Christian gets a title shot or Sting gets a title shot, and you're out here fucking annoying me.
Bark, bark.
There's a fascinating thing happening now where I can hear the bark and then I hear the feedback of the bark from your side through the microphone. So I'm getting like dual barks. Jim asks Kurt not to disrupt the program. Angle says he's not going to mess anything up, but he will get his rematch one way or another.
If I was Jim, I'd be like, "What does that mean, though? Like, what are you gonna do though? Because I'm running a show here. Like,
it seems awfully like you still plan to mess up the show. But I guess he didn't attack a referee tonight, so that's fine." Joe and a woman arrive to the building. Joe's on crutches after his ankle locked last week. The woman is vaguely identified as a female partner of his.
For shoots?
I have no idea. I would say no, based on my impression.
What do you mean by that?
She just seems more like an actress.
Should I kill this dog?
No, it's fine. If you do hear dogs barking in the background, he just wants to be on the show.
He's dropping crazy slurs. See, that's why I wanted to kill him.
And it's quiet now, so I think you did.
He knows.
Fuck. Later in the show, Letitia has Samoa Joe. He's on crutches. She asks about his injury. He says he doesn't have one. He says he won't be broken or beaten like Kurt. Still rejects the rematch and says Kurt needs to get over it.
Okay, if I was Joe, I'd probably just give him the match at a certain point.
Yeah, I would have watched him attack SoCal Val and been like, I should probably just give it to him.
I would give him the match and then like get myself DQ'd immediately.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That would fuck with him more.
Yeah.
Because he would spend 3 or 4 weeks hyping himself back up for the rematch, and then...
Yeah, and then you would like completely take the wind out of his sails.
You're better at mind games than Samoa Joe.
Wow.
We recapped the TNA end-of-year awards, which are not official. They're the official awards. Will be on our Patreon in the next couple of weeks. And we might disagree with all of these. And some of them aren't even our categories.
I mean, we're all waiting to see who is going to be the Cyber Vixen of the Year.
So, Tag Team of the Year, AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. Feud of the Year, Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle. Match of the Year, the Styles and Daniels versus LAX Ultimate X match at No Surrender. Knockout of the Year, or Cyber Vixen of the Year, Christy Hemme. The most inspirational professional wrestler, which is, I guess, their equivalent of Human Man of the Year, Eric Young.
Yep.
A Moment of the Year, Kurt Angle comes to TNA. X Division Star of the Year, Samoa Joe. Finisher of the Year, Canadian Destroyer. Who to watch in 2007, Kurt Angle.
That up-and-comer. He is one to watch.
He has never held a belt in this company. This might finally be his time. Mike Tenay and Jim Cornette are in the ring to reveal Mr. TNA for 2006. This is where Jim, by the way, announces that it's an elimination match at the pay-per-view. I didn't color-code it because it's one line in this promo. The nominees for Mr. TNA: AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, Sting, and Samoa Joe. They cut to like little men in a box things, except for Jarrett, who's not there. Joe wins. Joe's pleased. AJ looks sad because actually this is the first time he's lost this award. So he kind of just expected to win. Angle leaves immediately. We recap Joe's year real quick as they go through like him beating Steiner and working all the way up to losing to Kurt Angle, I guess. Angle interrupts his acceptance and his giant bowling trophy, by the way. Angle has the woman Joe arrived with. Angle says, don't even try to help because by the time you get here, the bitch is toast. His exact words. He's going to kill her. He gives Joe a choice. Either give Kurt Angle the rematch or he will break her ankle. Joe, not liking this girl, hesitates, which gives Angle a moment. He puts the ankle lock on, and Joe accepts the rematch. Angle apologizes and says it wasn't.
There's truly, there's no debate here.
Yeah.
Just give him the match. Jesus.
I feel like the second he dragged your supposed girlfriend out by the hair and threatened to break her ankle, you would be like, fine, rematch. Okay, rematch.
And furthermore, don't go through with it. You haven't signed anything legal.
Yeah, that's true. Once you get her away from him, you can just be like, that was coercion. That doesn't count.
Then you call the police.
Yeah.
And they fix all the problems.
We have laws about coercion.
As they are one to do.
After Joe accepts the rematch, Angle apologizes and says it wasn't personal. Then says, actually it is, and it reapplies the ankle lock as Joe hobbles up the ramp and the girl screams, he broke my ankle!
So anyway, the bitch was toast anyway.
The bitch was toast, no matter what.
So shit, Joe. You got played. You aren't good at mind games.
Yeah, he's just swimming he's a kid in a big swimming pool.
Well, anyway, doesn't matter because at freaking final resolution, the real bitch will be toast, and that's Kurt Angle.
Whoa, that would have been a good line. That would have got him. I did enjoy it as Joe was hobbling up the ramp. He just chucked one of his crutches at Kurt.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, what if it just hit her?
That would have been really funny.
I'll save you.
Fuck. I do believe we never see this girl again.
Yeah, Kurt killed her. She died.
And I think Joe was smart to be like, you can never come to my workplace ever again.
True.
We also then get a 2006 recap video set to Shameful by Atreyu.
Well, Kurt should be feeling fucking shameful.
Yeah, this was the last thing that aired in TNA in 2006. This was the note they ended the year on.
You know what? Fairs.
January 4th, Impact. Not from the Tokyo Dome, from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida.
What the hell?
Well, it's January 4th.
Yeah, why shouldn't they? I'm saying, put them in the dome. They're known for the dome.
The TNA does start running the dome next year. Running the dome.
They do start running the dome.
Yep. TNA holds co-promoted shows in the Tokyo Dome.
They run the dome more than AEW has.
Joe is very mad and wants to kill Kurt. Kurt has a match tonight. Jim Cornette's like, Joe, please. Please don't interrupt the show.
Stop fucking up my show.
Joe says the only person who wants to hurt is Kurt.
I'm begging you.
Jim is like, leave the building. And Joe's like, I don't think I will. Because later in the show, JB has Joe. And Joe says, I'll leave the building tonight, but only after my job is done.
And it's like, again, you'd be like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So this is the show that's meant to be main evented by Christian Cage versus Kurt Angle. It doesn't start because Samoa Joe jumps Angle during his entrance. They brawl all over the building and backstage. We come back from break, and Jim Cornette tells security to let Angle and Joe fight, so they brawl some more. Angle and Joe brawl longer than any TV match of this month. Joe slams Angle through a table on some concrete as we go to break. We come back from break. They brawl some more. Now Jim is like, I think somebody might get killed. We do have to separate them. I thought they would get it out of their system, and they haven't. So back in security.
If they die during a match, that's fine.
However, his compromise is to make Angle versus Joe at the pay-per-view a 30-minute Iron Man match. Mm-hmm. So it will be the joint longest match in TNA history. Isn't it crazy that there hasn't been a match longer than 30 minutes than 30 minutes in TNA history so far?
You know what? No.
Yeah.
Anything that is the most on the money thing.
Yeah, it is very TNA that we've had three 30-minute Iron Man matches, but we have not yet had a normal match go longer than 30 minutes. Then Go Home Impact, Kurt Angle, he's wrestling Maverick Matt as Serotonin, really getting a tough draw.
Fucking Maverick Matt's gonna get murdered again.
A distraction does let Matt get some offense in on Kurt, but then Kurt Germans all of Serotonin out of their boots, hits the Angle Slam, and submits Maverick Matt with an ankle lock, ending the Matt Bentley-Kurt Angle dream match we all hoped for when Kurt Angle came to TNA.
That was the one I was waiting for.
You were in a not Angle, not Sting, not Joe, not Jarrett or Sabin or Daniels or Rhino or any of these guys. Michael Shane, Shawn Michaels' cousin.
Yeah, I had to run back that Mania match.
Pretty much. It was pretty much identical. We had an Angle Joe history package set to Yearning by the Autumn Offering. I should make like a Spotify playlist of like TNA songs. Of all these like goofy songs that no one's ever heard of. I might go back through the notes and put that together. Raven attacked Maverick Matt with a kendo stick where Dawn says the words at some point, "That's so Raven."
It's a future I can see.
That's so Raven. JB as Joe. JB mentions Joe didn't get involved earlier. And Joe says that was a request of him made by Jim, but he is going to cripple Kurt Angle tonight still.
I won't do it during the match. I respect Jim too much.
And then main event, during the friggin' bullshit with the cage and Angle, Joe appears and starts fighting with Angle. Angle gets him in the ankle lock, but Joe rolls through, sending Angle crashing headfirst into the announce table, which did look like it hurt. Pay-per-view, 30-minute Iron Man match. Before the match, so JB has Samoa Joe. He will torture, pummel, and beat Kurt Angle for 30 minutes. Kurt Angle will be broken. JB did at one point say, it's like, oh, we had tough words from Kurt Angle earlier. And Kurt Angle did not do an interview earlier. So, not sure what happened there. But
he said some crazy shit.
Yeah, he was just speaking to be in private, I guess. Kurt Angle defeated Samoa Joe 3-2 in a 30-minute Iron Man match. Through this show, they did some fan voting where you could text a mobile phone number to tell TNA whether you thought Kurt Angle was going to win or Samoa Joe was going to win. In the first TNA mobile poll, 43% said Kurt was going to win, 57% said Joe was going to win.
And guess what? The best part is...
What?
It meant nothing. They paid money for nothing. These fucking marks. We got them, baby.
Yeah, because this is one of those premium text numbers. And yeah, you got absolutely nothing out of this. It's not even like your vote was on screen, you know? It's just like you are part of an aggregate number. Well done.
Do you think like Cyber Sunday and Taboo Tuesday was shoot?
Well, I think probably largely more than you think, but only because they gave bullshit options.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, it was all like, do you want an arm wrestling match, a pillow fight, or...
Steel cage ultimate death.
Yeah. So you're like, you're pretty certain it's going to be the cool thing as opposed to the two lame things. But TNA announced a licensing deal with New Motion Inc. on January 12th to provide mobile content featuring TNA wrestlers. The press release made trade magazines to cover the mobile industry. Part of the soft launch of the mobile deal was the Angle Joe polling at the pay-per-view. TNA's press release states there will be alerts, blogs, wallpapers, ringtones, fan clubs, and fan polling on the mobile service.
Fucking epic.
So this match was fascinating because I remember that someone in this match got a concussion.
I think we had the most interesting experience of this match.
Which I think ended up with us having concussions. But
yeah,
I vaguely remembered the story and I thought it was Joe that was concussed, and that seemed to be backed up because there's a moment where Joe does a suicide dive in this match, and he hits his head off the floor.
And then they start fucking shit up.
Yeah. So if you go and watch the watch along, tnachat.com, patreon.com/kiddingme, our watch along of this is really fun because we're trying to identify the ways in which Samoa Joe is fucked up after he clearly obviously got a concussion when he bashed his head off the floor.
Yeah, like, obviously.
It turned out Kurt was concussed like 8 minutes into the match. So
we couldn't tell at all.
We couldn't. Well, we could tell they were calling spots, which we still blamed on Joe.
I'm gonna put it beyond the fact that like we were just so hyper focused on the idea that it was Samoa Joe that got concussed that we stopped focusing on Angle.
Yeah, Angle just wasn't in the match anymore. But yes, Kurt did get a concussion. He did some media the next day, but there's a fun story. Angle plotted out the entire match ahead of time, move for move. He talked with Joe about it, but Joe didn't really pay close attention, figuring Angle was going to call it in the ring anyway. Then when Angle went blank after the concussion, about 8 minutes in, Joe hadn't memorized the match and now had to call the spots. Angle had no idea what was going on, including where they were in the match, how many falls they had done, and Joe had to keep it together.
And like, which is like, again, further more important because it's a fucking Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. It is one of the more like delicate, intricate matches you could do.
And an Iron Man that's going 3-2, by the way. Not an Iron Man that's like 1-up at the end.
It is also like the match type where you can't go home early.
Yeah.
Guy gets concussion 8 minutes in and you do have to wrestle 22 minutes more.
Yeah. I don't know if I like this match because of the concussion subplot, but I don't know. I think I like it in general. These two are good in that kind of like in-ring storytelling stuff.
They do actual professional wrestling. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
There was also like the sub-injury story is that Samoa Joe's MCL sprain was a severe secondary sprain based on his second examination on the 13th of December. He appeared on Hermie Sadler's promoted the Cross House show in Virginia and signed autographs but couldn't wrestle. And he was booked at the tapings but didn't wrestle the last tapings before Christmas. And he's not expected to go home to undergo surgery. So not only did Kurt Angle get concussed, Samoa Joe had a bum knee going into this match as well. So
they're just fucking going for it.
Minor miracle that it turned out pretty good.
It's almost like they're two of the best.
Joe smashed his head off the floor doing that big suicide dive and then immediately smashed his head on the mat doing a big German suplex. And we're like, Joe, how are you not the one concussed? Joe went 1-0 up with the Coquina clutch. Angle ties it up with the ankle lock submission. Both Mike Tenay and Don West then imply that they both submitted quicker than usual because they didn't want to do long-term damage because they want to survive longer in the match. Angle went 2-1 up with another ankle lock with a little over 10 minutes remaining. Joe kicked out of an angle slam. Joe got it to 2-2 with a muscle buster, but Angle grabbed a quick pin. Like an intricate quick pin as well, where you had to do like a go behind and like one of those roll-ups. And you're like, damn, he was concussed. Joe hits a muscle buster with 90 seconds to go, but Angle gets his feet in the ropes. Joe locks Angle in the ankle lock, but Angle taps only right after time expires. Angle wins 3-2, ending their series for good.
They will never wrestle ever again.
They will only have one more match in 2007, so there's that. The complete collection is on TNA's YouTube now if you want to go watch every match Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe have ever had. But yeah, this is, as I said, it's an interesting match to watch in the context of both men getting hurt. And I think it holds together more or less okay. It's not on par with the other two matches. I think the other two matches are easily better matches. But it's not a bad match. It's a perfectly decent little Kurt Angle Samoa Joe. Not that it's 30 minutes long. Kurt Angle Samoa Joe match.
You know, a quick jaunt.
A quick, easy watch.
I think it's good because like it's offering something pretty different from the other two matches as well. So like it's part of like a 3-match collection. I think it serves its own purpose. And
it does really stand out on these shows in particular because it's the only stuff that's not bullshit.
Yeah.
Like there's so much bullshit on these shows, and these are at least the two guys that are like doing serious we want to kill each other, let's do wrestling matches stuff. So it does. Yeah. I think that helps it a little by contrast to everything around it.
Yeah.